Hello, everyone. Thank you for checking out this special episode of Really Dicey. This is Manny. I'm here with Andre, and today we're going to talk about Mausritter, which is a game that I've been wanting to talk about for a long, long time. I was given this some time ago, and it is one of the most beautiful box sets I've ever opened. Anyone that's fans of either rules like games or OSR games or anything like that will find this very welcoming to their collection, as well as it's a great product for experienced gamers, or if you want to introduce this to families that have never role played before. It's a great product. So, Andre, before we begin, let's talk about yourself a little bit. What's your involvement with Mouse Ritter, for those that don't know?
Yep. All right. Thanks so much, Manny, for having me and Isaac in spirit, I guess. Thank you for the opportunity and for the space here. So my name is Andre. I'm kind of the original publisher of Mausritter, so to speak. So the story is Mausritter is Isaac's baby. He designed the game. He's a little genius. Let's say it. He did the writing, he does the art, he does the layout, he does the design, he did pretty much everything. And this existed in PDF format in I believe 2020, late 2019. And then when I started Games Omniverse as a publisher, I was looking for interesting games to publish, collaborations to make, and so this became kind of like an obsession of mine at the beginning of the company. I was really a friend of mine, just by accident really, called me one night and said, look, I have like a mouse game I really want you to try. And I was like, yeah, maybe not tonight, I have something to do. Then I ended up going with it, and we ended up playing, and I just fell in love, and I became obsessed with the game. So I kind of like chased Isaac for a few months there, saying that we should definitely do something with that PDF, because it only existed in PDF format. And then Isaac eventually agreed to it, and we started developing what would become the original Mausritter box set. So my involvement at the beginning with Mausritter was mostly in the capacity of product, doing some product design, product management, and obviously editing, and doing some and being the publisher for it. It was an incredible success, Mausritter, right from the beginning. Then we did a 1 year later we did another print run, and another a variant. We did a new print run with a variant cover for the box set, which is the one that you're holding. So we did a Kickstarter for that, and it was also during that campaign that we won the Annie for Best Family Game. So Mausritter won it in 2021. And since then, I kind of became more involved in the writing of the game, in writing aspects, developing even some little game design for Mausritter. So this is kind of the story and my involvement, and then eventually the game scaled and grew so big that that a small indie publisher like Games Omniverse was not could not handle it logistically anymore. So we reached out to Exalted Funeral, and Exalted Funeral partner. We partner up with Exalted Funeral, so they are the publishers of Mausritter now, and Games Omniverse is kind of like a developer. So me and Games Omniverse, it's kind of like a developer of the game, a co-creator, and Isaac Williams and Losing Games is the lead creator here.
So, for anyone that does not is not sure what Mouse Ritter is all about, pretty much as simple as I can, and please, Andre, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty much you're playing mice that go on adventures. Think of it as I think of it as a Secret of Nim if it was placed in a fantasy setting.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
am I correct about that? Am I close?
It's kind of like the way I see the way the Mouse Ritter is. written on is abstractly somehow written on purpose. It's you understand what I mean. So it's not, we do not really tell people what the setting is. We only hint at what the setting might be and our kind of own interpretations of it, but it's very much vague. So there's a lot of people that, for instance, play Mausritter, as you are saying, in a very fantastical, whimsical setting. I almost as like Redwall, for instance, or almost as like Root, the board game, so to speak. You know, those kind of things. There's some people that play it in a more grounded fashion, but they play it like in a medieval time, which is also fine. I guess the way me and Isaac kind of see this is we like to we kind of see, not like, but we kind of see Mouse Ritter as something that happens in our contemporary everyday world. That's how we see it. So it is fantastical because you're seeing the way through the lenses, through the eyes of a mouse, right? But everything around is very, very grounded into human reality, let's say. So you can have an adventure inside a kitchen, for instance. There's someone at Mausritter Month event who's doing, Diogo Barros is doing a setting, a Mausritter set that's inside a kitchen. When we did The Estate, which was the first adventure collection for Mausritter, the adventures were kind of like inside a grandfather's clock, inside a coat of arms, inside, inside these things that are kind of like trivial and ordinary for humans, but that contain an interesting scale for a mouse adventure. You know what I mean? So this is kind of like how we see the setting. So we don't necessarily see the setting as like a very fantasy, whimsical sort of alter reality, but we see it as something that happens within the confines of what we humans would consider ordinary or trivial. And I think that's interesting because it also it's very immersive in the sense that it invites players to see their own world through the lenses of someone that of something someone that is very small, and that's really something very interesting to explore, not only as game designers but I think as players.
Hmm. So I'm really glad that I get to talk to you because you were so involved with the production of it. And although the rules are great and character creation and all that is fantastic in Mouse Ritter, uh, it's the little things like I just want to show this. So this is I'm looking inside the box set for Mouse Ritter, and it comes with this book, this rule book. It's thin, but it looks just like a book you will find in the children's section in a library or a Barnes and Noble. It's so well put together. It's just so it fits the theme of the game. It's like this is a this is I love products where it just looks beautiful and it looks great on the shelf and it looks inviting to play. Um,
Mhm.
so as someone involved in production, when you received Mouse Ritter, where did your mind go for the to design something like this? Like
Mhm.
how did that begin?
Mhm. Okay, so I think there's three things that I would possibly talk about here. So first is the idea of doing the box set itself, which I'll talk about. The second idea is the children's book reference that you're saying, and then the third is the hole in the box, which is kind of like what people associate with Mouse Rater. So these three things. The first thing when I played the game, and again, we basically just printed a PDF from the internet and we printed all these item sheets because Mausritter has a very interesting inventory system where people, instead of writing on their character sheet what their character is carrying, they actually have these little puzzle sized pieces which they are given by the game master, and players just place them atop their character sheet basically. So they're like it's like a little game of Tetris going on while you're playing the game. So I immediately understood that there was a really interesting potential here to do more than just a book. I really love the box set format in role playing games since those old box sets from TSR Chaosium from the 70s and 80s, all the way to a lot more contemporary examples like the Black Hack. Black Hack had a really strong influence in me. That Black Hack, the original box set, is something I fell in love with when I bought it. So I kind of like I really wanted to do a box set even before knowing Mausritter, and then when I saw Mausritter, I said this is the perfect game to do it because Mausritter has such a tactile and almost board gaminess nature to it that it just felt right to do something like that. It felt natural because it has these inventory pieces, like I was saying. It has like a pen you can write and scribble on these item cards. It felt natural to do that. So that was something that I wanted to do before previously to knowing Mouse Street. And then when I met Mouse Street, it's like, okay, this is obvious. Let's do this. And then we started, thinking about what can we add to the box set to make this a cool, complete product that people feel excited about. So it's the item cards, obviously. Then we decide the character sheets. Then we also did the GM screen, and we started thinking about how we were going to go about the adventure. How are we going to format the adventures for for Mouse Raider? And then we had the idea, look, maybe the adventures, the template or the usual form, how adventures are presented in Mouse Raider, has also to have like an immersive side to it. So we decided that all the adventures would be very small and contained to convey the sense that you're entering a small world, so to speak. So since you're playing you're playing with a small sized character, right? It felt immersive that the adventures were also quite on the small side. So we also considered that, and we did that, and then things kind of evolved from there, I guess. Isaac Williams says this quite often, that Mouse Ritter is 70% Beatrix Potter and 30% heavy metal. So that, I think people don't really get the heavy metal side, but Mouse Ritter can be very deadly and dangerous and mean. So there's some element of that to it. So it's kind of like this balance between getting the children books vibes, as you were saying correctly, but also getting like the dangerous kind of noir vibes in it. And we can talk a bit more about that because Junk City is exactly what we're trying to do with that. And then so coming from that, we were like, okay, so what else are we going to do to make this box set more even more immersive? And we came to I was visiting the printer because we print everything locally here in Portugal with some partners. So I actually go to the printer myself and I see things and I experiment with them on what can be done and what, like, the type of paper we choose, the type of printing, the type of finishing, all that stuff, coating, this sort of things. I'm always experimenting with them. And I saw, when I was there, I saw a book that had a hole in the cover, and I was like, oh yeah, 100% we have to do something with this. And then out of conversation with Isaac, we kind of had the idea, look, what if the hole was actually like a hole in a tree? The idea being that as you open the box, so you start by looking at the box and you're looking at the tree far away. Then you open the box and you're looking at a close-up of the tree. And then you actually have to open the book. So you kind of have to go through the hole to read the rules and immerse yourself in the game. And that's kind of like a physical way of immersing yourself into the game. The product kind of conveys the idea that you're going from human to mouse scale as you're actually touching the physical product. So that's what we kind of had in mind here for the physical production and the physical box set. If that makes sense, maybe it doesn't make any sense, but we think it does.
Oh yes, yes, and thank you for clarifying about the saying a little bit. I know I mentioned about the children's book look of it, but it's not a. I wouldn't consider it. Could be a well, not sure it could be a children's game, but there is levels of darkness that people can
Yes,
use. So it's
yes,
that's the I think what's brilliant about this game. It could be either or.
yeah,
It could be something you could play with your kids, or it could be much darker than Secret of Nim, as I
yes,
mentioned before.
yes.
Um, but
Yes, and
so
I know that a lot of games ended up with four mice being eaten by a cat. So, I mean, that's terrifying, I guess. So, but yeah, a lot of people just took it in the direction of more family game because it also won that Annie, and we kind of embrace it. It's not like we don't want it or anything. It's like we embrace that. It's fine. It's we even endorse that in the communication we do in the third party community, so that's fine. But originally and in our minds, there's at least some aspects of Mausritter which can be very, mean, deadly, very OSR in that sense, very old school oriented in the sense that it can be a game that dwells in failure almost, and in characters not succeeding, and that, you know what I mean, that kind of
right.
like mind, or space in gaming, I would say.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I think sometimes we forget things like even like Grimm's fairy tales. Those things people think of it. Oh, they're children's stuff, but they're really, really, really dark stuff. And years,
Mhm.
hundreds of years ago, they were not seen that way. But
Mhm.
that's a. I don't want to get too far off topic.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Um,
I talk a lot,
um,
so you can shut me up
no, no,
whenever you feel like it.
no, 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 no. This is good. So if I may ask, before we talk about Junk City, the newest chapter, I guess you could say, for Mouse Ritter, um, one thing that I'm really interested in is that you started out working with production, and now you're helping out with writing for this. I've never, very few have I seen like those involved in production gets fall so in love with a product that become like part of the writing staff as
Mhm,
well.
mhm.
Can you share a little bit about that? How's that experience been like?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is. I mean, a bit natural, I would say, for me, because when I started Games Omniverse as a project, my only capacities really in the creative aspect of doing games or designing games was writing. I don't know how I cannot illustrate anything. I'm very well. Now I'm trying my hand in layout and a bit of design, but this is very recent, so I didn't even know how to. I didn't even had InDesign or Photoshop installed on my computer, So my skills were mostly writing, and since the beginning of Games Omniverse, I've been involved mostly in writing my own material, my own stuff, like the Nine Sands, Bottled Sea, the X Scroll Toolbox. All these products and settings were written by me, and then I partnered up with illustrators, designers, graphic designers to actually make the product. And I'm always very much involved in the production aspects of it. Um, um, but that was one aspect of Games Omniverse. The other aspect was me publishing and using Games Omniverse as a publish to publish the works of other people. So in Games Omniverse we published stuff like Vault So Far and Frontier Scum, games that kind of gained a lot of reputation over the last few years. So it kind of felt natural when I started, when we did the estate for Mouse Reacher, which was the first supplement for it, the first box set supplement. It's an adventure collection. I was already very much involved in writing there for the guidebook. So not the adventures themselves, which were written by the box set contains 11 adventures written by 11 guest creators, that we invited to be a part of that. But then me and Isaac, and me specifically, since that's what you're asking, I was very much involved in the writing of the guidebook and how we create the connections between these modules and stuff. And then it kind of like organically developed over the years, since I've been involved a lot in writing anyway for other stuff, other projects, other products, other settings, um, and other games. It kind of felt natural, so I started talking to Isaac and was like, okay, maybe do you want to write something with me and we take it from there? And he said, yeah, of course, you're part of the show now anyway, so of course let's do it. So it was kind of like a natural pause. There was no moment where we like I it was clearly okay, now I'm going to stop being a publisher and I'm going to be like a co-writer or something. It kind of like organically developed into that as kind of like Exalted took over the publishing sides of it from Games of Universe, so to speak. I kind of like gained more protagonism as kind of like a co-creator writer for the game. And now Junk City, I would say, yeah, at least half of it, if not more, is written by me. Everything is written by either me or Isaac, us two together, basically writing. And when we write a module, I send something, then Isaac completely edits it, then resends it to me. I do my stuff there again. So it's kind of like also organic process between the two of us now, and it really feels good. It's very generous of Isaac, and I cannot thank him enough to just let me in as like a co-creator writer for this. It's like a really honor. It's like an honor to me. Really, I'm delighted to be doing this now, because this is also the part that I like the most.
Hmm. So before we jump into Junk City, I just want to let viewers know that if this sounds intriguing, um, and you can't rush to your if you can't rush to your game store just yet, you could get this. You could download this for free right now. The Mausritter game, which I have. This is an example of one of the files you can download. You can get it for free, but I would highly recommend you get the box set because the presentation within this is excellent. I should do even though I already opened it, I should do like an unboxing one day just to show what's really in here because it's a the amount of great stuff in here is wonderful. So Exalted Funeral is doing something in November 2025 called Mausritter Month, which they're promoting the backer kit launching of Junk City. So yes, this is not the second box set. This is the third one, right? The second one was the estate, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
Which we'll talk about in a different video in the future. So let's talk about Junk City. This is exciting. It seems like this is going to be a bit of a darker take to the Mouse
Mhm,
Ritter
mhm,
setting.
mhm.
So tell us what is this?
Yeah, so I think I originally pitched this idea to Isaac. I don't know where it came from really, but I had this idea that, look, maybe a junkyard is the perfect setting for doing like a mouse city or a mouse ritter city, because it really felt like something. There's cars and there's junk and there's cranes and there's all these sort of things that like each has the potential for an adventure by itself. So all combined, this kind of feels like a mouse skilled city, right? It feels like something and it felt intriguing. It felt something that I really wanted to play. I kind of like did some stuff to play with my group here, early experimental stuff. And Isaac was like, "Yeah, let's think about that. Let's do it." And then it kind of we've been writing this for like 2 years now, maybe more even. I honestly can't recall, but at least 2 years we've been experimenting and writing this. And then Isaac said, "Look, yeah, I love the idea, but I really want to do something that is more like neo noir, kind of like has these vibes of noir detective." Uh, Movies, these like Nordic kind of detective, this kind of stuff, girl with the dragon tattoo, and it has that vibe, but also a bit of Blade Runner. And there's antagonists which are like the big mean industrialist, and the kind of like sort of like cultist spy. So it has these classic elements from a few classic genres, so to speak, and they come together in something that is just junk for humans, a junkyard ride, but it has obviously the potential to become one fantastic whimsical, even in the sense that you're describing, that we were talking about setting for Mouse Race. So that's kind of like how it came along. And then we started, what can we do here that is different from the estate? So the estate is more a loose collection of standalone adventures that are kind of cobbled together into a cohesive setting in the end, but they're very much, they can be played as standalone adventures. And that's when we invited the creators, the 11 creators involved in the production of the estate. We actually we let them do whatever they wanted. With we didn't necessarily constrain them to do specific adventure sites or specific themes. They could do whatever they want, and then when they were done, they just handed that over to us, and we after that created some sort of setting that cobbled together all these adventures. This one was much more built from the ground up, so to speak. um, we wanted to create a more cohesive campaign sort of product for Mausritter. So something that really had very strong connections between the adventures, and it had like an overall mystery because Isaac wanted this to have like a detective a trait uh, to it. So then we decided we started, okay, let's what can this be? So he also wanted to touch on the whimsical aspect of Mausritter. So the background story here is that like um, a Faygate exploded and released shards all over the city, magical shards all over the city, and these shards are really really powerful and they're doing strange things around the city. And then the four main factions, and the four factions which are a cult, like it's called the cult of the Silver Paw. There's another faction which is the Vermin Syndicate, which is kind of like a criminal conglomerate. There's another faction which is the Wreck Industries, which is kind of like the bad mean industrialist. And there's also obviously the corrupt council of Burgermeister. So these are kind of like the factions that play around in the setting, and they're interacting with these shards, and they want to take control of these shards because they have magical properties and whatnot. So this is kind of like the mystery. And then there's one prominent NPC that disappeared, which is the friend of the characters. So they're kind of like the characters are thrown into this kind of like dark like the setting is presented as always being at night almost. The map has been purposely designed to be dark, almost no light. All the art is done during nighttime. So it has these more dark elements, and it has a central mystery to it. And then each adventure site is one stepping stone towards solving the overall mystery that is presented to the players, which is what are these shards and where is the missing NPC. So this is how it came about, I guess. And then we started to also, okay, what can be cool adventure sites for this? And obviously, I came up with the idea of doing a crane, for instance, having like a decommissioned crane. It's like an adventure inside this. I also had the idea of like a Volkswagen Beetle, the car, right? It's kind of like a casino. Then Isaac had a cool idea to do like an aquarium. So there's interesting kind of like there's an old piano, a broken grand piano that's also like a mansion for one of the rich characters in the story. So yeah, this is how it came along.
Wow. That sounds really, really busy and exciting. I love that. I love that there's just tons of different things coming at you from
Mhm.
different directions in a adventure setting. Let's look a little bit at what this box set entails. It looks like very similar to what we've seen in other Mouse Ritter box sets with the trifold opening for adventures, or although that could also work as almost like a game master screen as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't want to Tell us about this. This looks great. Just seeing this looks really really awesome.
Thank you. So yeah, this is so the box set will contain a bunch of adventures formatted as trifold postcards. As I discussed previously, the format for the adventures in Mausritter is these trifold A5 postcards. Because we wanted to convey the sense of scale, so people read a small adventure, and while they do so, they kind of like enter the mouse world. So the box set will have nine of these adventures. Stuff like the crane, like a broken old piano. There's a factory, and there's mice striking at the factory. And the factory itself, the building, is actually an old printing machine. So that's where the factory is set up. We have some sort of slums, which are just stacks of shoe boxes on top of one another. So this is kind of like, as I was saying in the beginning, we think of Mouse Ritter in a very grounded human setting. You know what I mean? Like the setting is in our everyday lives as a human. So this is stuff that we would encounter us, and it would be remarkable for us. But for a mouse, it's like super interesting and cool building to explore. So the box set will have these adventures, and it will also have one sealed adventure, which the GM is only supposed to open if the players succeed in solving the mystery somehow. That's the idea. So it will be simple enough that the GM can just tear it open and run it right from just reading it the first time. So it will surprise both the GM and the players. No one will know what's inside it until they reach the final, or at least that's the intention here. Then it will have like a puzzle, a 9-piece puzzle, which depicts the shards. So it represents the shards. So players are kind of like, as they complete these adventure sites, they are rewarded by a piece of this puzzle, and then they put together this. They start to put together this puzzle. Then it has a guidebook with lots of details about the factions, preeminent NPCs in the setting, tables for everything you can imagine. An explanation of the districts itself, a more detailed explanation of the districts, the buildings, that sort of thing. And then besides that, it has the map. It has a map of the setting, a player facing map, a big one, players that the GM can put on the table for everyone to see. And hopefully, if we hit some stretch goals, this thing, will add some paper minis, standees to it. We're gonna add some cool stuff, some character record envelopes. So because this game uses these item cards for the players use these item cards that they place atop the character sheet. These character record envelopes are so you can store your character sheets in these little item cards between sessions. So it will have a bunch of those too. So yeah, that sort of thing. I think I guess.
Oh wow, I can't wait. So this is coming out. This is being launched on November 4th.
Correct.
Okay, on Backer Kit. Okay, excellent,
Record
excellent.
kit. Part of
All
the
right,
event, part of the Mausritter Month event.
is there more happening during the month besides
Yes,
besides this?
absolutely. So this is Beckerkit reached out and proposed to us the idea of doing a Mausritter month, which is basically a month long celebration of Mausritter, and the event has an anchor project, an anchor official project, which is Junk City, but the event will also feature 15 other projects by third party creators from the Mausritter community. So basically, other creators or fans of the game, they will launch projects of their own at the same time as ours. And they will be part of this group event that is called Mausritter Month. So all campaigns go live on November the 4th, and all campaigns finish 1 month after, and all the projects go live at the same time. So it will be a fairly interesting, and it's like a community event. We also have like a game jam going on at Itch for the game during this month. So we have lots of things going for Mausritter. There's tons of super cool and interesting projects from the third party community. There's a setting that's, as I said, there's a setting that's inside like a Provençal style kitchen. There's someone doing like a cross between Mausritter and mechs, so mice piloting mechs. There's someone doing like a wartime, kind of like a World War I vibe kind of thing with Mausritter. So there's someone doing like Olympics, like these sort of like mini games for Mausritter, which they're like, if you as a player or a GM want to do like a mouse Olympics, so different mice settlements come together and do these kind of like crazy Olympics. There's someone doing a game and the setting for that and supplement for that. So it's great. So it's like lots of interesting things going on here.
That is really amazing. Wow. It's a good time to be a Mouse Runner fan.
Yes, the best time ever.
So I would put a link to the backer kit link when it goes live in the description below.
Mhm.
And I implore fans of OSR, or just, you know what, if you just like good role playing games, really really good role playing games, check out Mouse Ritter. It won't disappoint you. I can't imagine how it could. It's an amazing system, amazing artwork. The potential of the fluidity of the settings is amazing. Production is top notch. Yeah, definitely recommend check it out. But yes, viewers and listeners, thank you for watching. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next time.